In this presentation, I will offer an argument for considering the role and significance of pranks in historical and contemporary art. A prank is defined as, quote, a trick of an amusing, playful, or sometimes malicious nature, or to dress or adorn in an ostentatious nature, unquote. The prankster operates as a trickster, creating deceptions that reveal larger truths. Pranksters disrupt our normative experience and the status quo, rupturing our preconceptions about the world. As a form of creative rebellion, pranks can critique social, political, religious, and institutional systems. Pranking was essential to the methods of Hugo Ball and the earliest expressions of Dada in both Zurich and Berlin. Pranking as a form of resistance to bourgeoisie culture. In the same spirit, Marcel Duchamp's famous 1917 work titled Fountain, an appropriated urinal exhibited under the pseudonym R. Mutt, pranks the function and meaning of art, as well as our concepts of originality and artistic genius. In his 1990 work LHOOQ, he appropriates a lithographic reproduction of Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, adding a mustache to the figure. The name of the piece is a pun, since the letters, when pronounced in French, mean she has a hot ass. As pranking often involves various forms of autofiction, the construction of Duchamp's female alter ego, Eros c'est la vie, may also be understood as a prank. Photographed by his friend Man Ray, the name Eros c'est la vie also serves as a pun to be understood as Eros c'est la vie. In 1942, André Breton organized a retrospective exhibition of surrealist art in New York City. For the reception, Duchamp created this installation, A Mile of String, with the intention to make it hard for the guests to see the works of art. Certainly, this was also a prank. We can see pranking in the projects of artists associated with the Fluxus movement. Begun by the Lithuanian émigré George Macuinas, Fluxus sought to subvert the privileging of art as products of individual genius and was a key influence in later art movements from conceptualism to performance art. Another example is the Italian artist Piero Manzoni, who in 1961 produced a limited edition of 90 cans of his own excrement. Each of the cans contains 30 grams of this precious substance labeled in Italian, English, French, and German. During the mid-20th century, the target of much art pranking was art itself. Yves Klein's performances from the 1960s, in which he directs classical musicians while he applies blue paint to female models, which he used as what he called human brushes, tests our understanding of whether this is an art parody, an art prank, and/or just art. Pranking can be understood as a form of what Joseph Beuys called social sculpture, reflective of art's potential to transform society independent of material product or artifact. Through his use of performance as well as multiples, Beuys' use of pranking sought to bridge the gap between art and life. Arthur Danto makes the case that Andy Warhol's 1964 Brillo boxes, a series of screen-printed wooden boxes, brought the established trajectory of Western art history to an end. This prank asserts there is no single way that art should be made, perceived, or exhibited. Essential to many pranks is the use of irony as an aesthetic, social, and political strategy, to embrace mixed signals. In this way, pranks are often linked to works of both parody and satire. This print by Andy Warhol offers one such example. Art pranks often target institutional practices. In the late 1980s, the performance artist Andrea Frasier presented tours of the Philadelphia Museum of Art as her alter ego, the docent Jane Castleton. Her presentations included aesthetic analysis of not only the paintings, but the museum water fountain. Pranks can also serve as public relations stunts that, not unlike carnival sideshows of P.T. Barnum, engage the audience through forms of entertainment. How else might we understand the large-scale spectacles of Damien Hirst, in which he presents aquariums with a great white shark or an adult cow cut in half? Art pranking since the era of Warhol's Brillo boxes has often served a social or political purpose. The Guerrilla Girls' use of performance and printed advertising near and around major art venues offers a critique of the underrepresentation of women in major art museums, festivals, and biennials. Similarly, the performance artist and activist Reverend Billy, who founded the Church of Life After Shopping, takes to the strip malls of America, often in front of a Starbucks, to preach an anti-consumerist message that is both funny and politically engaged. As art today has often moved outside of galleries and museums, there are new forms of social sculpture that can involve hundreds of people. Consider the group Improv Everywhere, which organizes participatory art happenings, including the annual No Pants subway ride each January in New York City. Certainly the Yes Men are a good example of media pranking as an art form, infiltrating the communication platforms of corporate culture, from websites to business conferences. Their pranks are deceptions that also serve as a form of truth-telling. Given these many examples, how might one develop a theory of art pranks? Are pranks a means or an end? How does prank theory relate to existing theories of parody? What are the ethics of deception? Do pranks offer a case for play as a form of political resistance? Finally, are pranks a case for the role of humor in art? Thank you.